Hey guys, welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We're your hosts, Leah and Michelle. Today is the, 11th of August, 2019. I had to think about that for a second. It's technically the 9th of August.
But I'm going to make my prediction is that you're going to see more good news, more good steps. And we took a lot of hits. I mean, since we did the mass shooting in El Paso, we don't do this for money, by the way, but it's kind of nice when you can put ads on your videos, and it's called monetizing them. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't cost us anything. And YouTube would send you a check in the mail. It's kind of cool, right?
Well, direct deposit.
Yeah. And that in 2017, it was going to go really good. And then we started to be demonetized here and there, and we're completely demonetized now.
Zero zip
zilch. I don't even think a pickle video is monetized.
No, nothing. We have 0 videos that are monetized right now. So you are watching us ad free. So
I bet you're not. Because they do this really stupid thing where if they'll put an ad on it if I play a song.
Oh, that's right. So if you are seeing an ad, it goes to whoever else's song it was that we played while we were.
And it's okay
video.
Because the song might be in our video talking about an El Paso shooter.
Right. So, Turkle says again, he's our Italian friend who likes your accent. I lived in, I don't know how to say this town. It's a town in Italy. Lumazane. That city is 60 to 70% black. That was okay. About the same crime as Italians. The Pakistani was doing badly, though. All criminal, pretty much in Lumazane. And they fight with guns, he said. We will win. It is only natural. And inside a 5-year time frame, the Western attitude will be different no matter what.
I think you're absolutely right. All right, so time for our commercial break. Dun, da, da, da. Joe Biden, our former vice president, has made a lot of flubs this week, and we're not going to do U.S. news, but when they cross over, we're going to bring them to you.
But can I just do one that I don't know that even you heard about? He talked about the Parkland shooting.
Yeah.
And, you did hear about it? And he said, when I was vice president and I went down to Parkland and you all were there and you came, talking to the media, you all were there and you came and, when I was, that just happened last year, 2018. And he says, when I was vice president in the Parkland shooting, it's like, oh my gosh, he can't stop.
He's just really, his mind is, I think he's got Alzheimer's, honestly.
Yeah.
And I think so this is not the first time. But Joe Biden confuses ex-British Prime Minister Theresa May with Margaret Thatcher.
Oh no, he did not.
Again. Former Vice President Joe Biden on Thursday night mixed up the name of former British Prime Minister Theresa May with Margaret Thatcher, who left office in 1990. This is the second time in a matter of months he has found himself struggling to correctly name the leader, current or otherwise, of our ally, Great Britain. Biden was addressing global reaction to U.S. President Donald Trump after the Charlottesville rallies when he had to catch himself before fully saying Thatcher. Biden referred to Theresa May as Margaret Thatcher tonight, the second time he's done so since May. Here's the Biden quote from tonight. He was talking about international reaction to Trump's comments. And the word stunned the nation, and I would argue, I know, shocked the world, international leaders about it. You had people like Margaret Thatcher, you had people like the former chairman and the leader of the party in Germany. You had Angela Merkel stand up. So he didn't even correct it and say Theresa May.
First of all, let me correct myself. First of all, Joe Biden, you do not under any circumstance try to touch Thatcher, ever. And you don't ever try to put Theresa May in the same category as Thatcher. And as a matter of fact, you should never use Margaret Thatcher in any example that you would like to prove, because you are complete polar opposites in every sense of the word. You don't get to talk about her. You don't get to say her name.
So Biden was talking to some donors in May, and he said he was talking about he'd heard from 14 heads of state around the world, not one of which he named except for Margaret Thatcher, who voiced concerns to him about Trump. He says, Margaret Thatcher, Margaret Thatcher, Freudian slip, Biden said to growing laughter, but I knew her too. The Prime Minister of Great Britain, Theresa May.
So that was the first time he made the mistake.
Yeah.
And then the second time he didn't even say Theresa May.
Nope.
Right. So you know what I think?
No.
I think that Biden has Thatcher coming back in his sleep. Like talking to him.
Could be. All right, in Paris. Now, it was interesting because here in America we have a show called The Five. Greg Gutfield and 4 other people are on there. And then I watch it on Fox News every once in a blue moon. I happened to catch one of their episodes when they were talking about Antifa, and they didn't want Donald Trump to call Antifa a terror organization because they're just like a bunch of people. Now, when you talk about anti-fascism, you have to, I really want to be clear on this because we're not clear on this. That Antifa, and because the news, and if you guys haven't seen the clips where CNN and MSNBC say they're good people, they're just anti-fascist.
Right.
Okay, well, guess what? The Berlin Wall had on it anti-fascist. Okay, you know why? Because the commies were anti-fascist, but they're pro-communism. It doesn't mean you're anti-totalitarian. Oh my word, you don't believe that. They're total totalitarians, okay? It's a thing. It's just a thing in their minds. That's what they call themselves. It means nothing to them. So they are dangerous, and they're not just a small group of ragtag people, because Antifa is worldwide, and it's actually stronger and had its roots in Europe. And then there are chapters here in the United States.
Right.
But it is primarily a European. There's Antifa in every European country, and primarily in Germany, and you guys see them in the UK and in France. And there's a leader who is getting ready.
All of these young people who want to be in like a gang or a group, but they don't want to be in like the regular type of a gang. They want to have a mission. They want to have a meaning. It's the lack of religion. They want to have a purpose.
Right. They are communists. Their goal is another European takeover or whatever, Bolshevik revolution type mindset. They're communists. But in Paris, there's a far left extremist leader, and Antonin Bernanos is getting ready to be released, and Paris prosecutors are appealing this judicial move. Mr. Bernanos is currently in pretrial detention after being arrested in April, but a judge ruled earlier this month not to extend the pretrial jailing past the 18th of August, allowing the Antifa leader to be released back on the streets. The April arrest came after he, along with several other Antifa members, fought with right-wing activists near Notre Dame Cathedral on the 15th of the month, the same day the cathedral caught fire and its historic roof was destroyed.
Interesting.
Ari Alimi, and they are very much anti-religion too. So the lawyer for the 24-year-old far-left extremist reacted to the appeal, stating that the prosecutor's office had become a judicial arm of the Ministry of the Interior. Similar comments were made by the ultra-left pro-Antifa Liberons Let's Free Them group, which called it judicial persecution, and political decision, because the Antonin represents all those people who challenge the Macron party. The prosecutor's appeal comes only days after French police expressed concerns over the possible release of this guy, arguing that he might organize far-left extremists to disrupt the upcoming G7 summit in Biarritz, that is scheduled later this month. Antifa in France has made frequent menacing threats towards the government, and I find it interesting where it's not that I agree with Macron, but a lot of times the Antifa find a niche or a hole. You had the Yellow Vests who were peaceful, and then I believe the Antifa came in like, hey, we're anarchists. Right. We're anarchists. They're Marxist anarchists, and they just want to destroy everything. Everything in their mind is just destroy. They're destroyed on the inside out. It's really sad.
So Beyond My Purview on YouTube says, if your ideas require violence to embrace, you need new ideas. And that's really true. These people come out and they have such violence within them. They don't know how to make, and it's not even that they don't know how to make a change without violence. They don't want to. It's within them to be violent. That's the whole point.
we're having another commercial break because some of my news kind of goes together, and some of it's just
Are
random.
we gonna face paint?
No, it's meth.
Oh.
Please don't face paint with that.
Okay.
So this is one of these kind of commercial breaks. Doesn't really have much to do with politics, but it's very kind of one of these interesting things. So 2 Brits are arrested in New Zealand over a $90 million meth bust. Yeah. So New Zealand, not real big. You know, New Zealand police said that Friday they had arrested 2 British men after finding a huge stash of methamphetamine in an Auckland apartment that would have been worth tens of millions of dollars if sold on the street. Police said they've been targeting a foreign criminal organization working in New Zealand as part of what they're calling Operation Essex. They say the bust was one of the largest of its type in New Zealand. Police said they searched the apartment last week and found plastic storage containers inside cardboard packing boxes that were filled with more than 200 kilograms of meth, with a street value of 144 million New Zealand dollars, about 100 million US dollars. In part due to New Zealand's isolated location, drugs like meth tend to bring a higher price. They're not really making it there. They're bringing it in. Detective Inspector Paul Newman told reporters they arrested a 60-year-old man and a 49-year-old man.
So here's the problem that I have with methamphetamines.
Destroys you?
No, yes. But I have to be perfectly honest. The number one thing that bothers me about meth versus anything else, your teeth. They just go away like
They
that.
just fall right out. It's really sad.
It's so awful. I mean, to me, like, I've always felt like your teeth are really important. Like, you need them. And when you see these drug addicts that have no teeth left because they just did meth like a handful of times, I know it's probably more than that, but still, it's depressing. Wait a minute. I don't know if this is going to stay on today. We're gonna
So
try.
I'm actually happy for New Zealanders that they found that $100 million worth of meth. We're going to save a lot of teeth.
Right, exactly. Look,
High
I
five.
look bigger
Good
than
news.
you.
High five. Good news.
That is good news.
All right. So now did we go to the Sweden? All right. To the Swedens. To the Swedes. To the Swedes.
Go
The
to
Swedish police
Okay.
have warned the
Here we
women.
go.
Okay, to make sure you have your little horn and your little helmet and your swords and your shields because or you could just avoid parks and alleys after a series of rapes.
I kind of am curious to see if Swedish women were to start wearing these, like not these plastic ones, but like real
deal.
ones. Do you think they would? Would it be a weapon? Like, would you even be allowed to walk around with that?
I know.
Because like yours, mine has the wings, but yours you could take off and like gut somebody with that.
I need a strap, but you could it would totally like stop a rape.
Or
think.
even just kind of put your head down.
That's what I'm thinking.
And yeah.
So the Sweden ladies, get the real ones, get a good strap, nice leather, cinch it down when you're walking around. They come
Because I
just ahead of butt.
like from a historical
Literally,
standpoint,
ahead of butt.
I don't see how they could outlaw these.
I don't think so. I think you really have to start. I think if you wore like a breastplate and took a shield.
Yeah.
I don't know about swords. I don't know the legality of carrying a sword, but I would recommend
What if
one.
you had a shield, like a really heavy duty one,
Yeah.
and then you could just like go at like, whap them with the.
Well, I know that
think
it's
a good
either
idea.
in Norway or Finland. You're not even allowed to have pepper spray. So totally weird. Swedish police in the city of Uppsala have warned the women walking alone at night. Walking alone at night. Don't you think that's incredibly sexist? You can't walk
Yeah.
alone.
Well, you can't walk alone.
You can't walk alone at night to avoid certain areas entirely. After the city saw 4 sex attacks in 4 days.
Wow.
This is insane. I think that in a socialist country, they should arm every woman at least with pepper spray.
Yeah.
They should
exactly
They should
just
make
for
them free,
equality.
and you should be able to go get them.
Right,
because
right.
why? Yeah,
Equality.
exactly. We're talking about equality here. Feminism is all about equality. We know that women are not as strong as men. They can't fight off these attacks. That is why I believe in the Second Amendment, because the Second Amendment says, "Hey, guess what? I'm equal with you."
Yeah.
Okay. And I am also in favor of carrying a knife because that means I'm a little bit more equal with you. Right? Pepper spray makes you a little bit more equal. Guns, I would say, if I'm in Sweden, I'm like, girl, be packing. I'm on Swedish police. I'm like, be packing. If you start walking, you're going to walk alone at night, get yourself a concealed carry and be packing. And then you'll be equal. and then they'll think twice. Rape stop like that. Girls be packing. I think the Swedish government should be hosting gun safety nights for women only.
Yeah.
Okay? If you want to be a feminist government, you know what? Hey, you don't want to sell guns to men? Whatever. Sell them to women.
Yeah.
You want to stop the rapes? You want to stop this? Sell them to women. Between August 3rd and August 7th, 4 women were sexually attacked by unknown perpetrators, with 2 of the attacks resulting in rape, while the remaining 2 others were attempted rapes. On Tuesday night and into early Wednesday morning, police were alerted to a rape attempt in the center of the city, with a woman claiming that a random stranger grabbed her inappropriately and then ran off as she fell to the ground. Wow. Police officer Linda Winge said the attack appeared totally random and that so far they had not located a suspect. The press spokesman from the Uppsala police said that women and men should be more cautious. I love men. And alone at night. Women in a town. Oh, sorry, I'm in Italy.
See, I told you that I have told you that your Swedish is just like Italian.
No.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. The women in town, they should not. No, you're messing me up now.
I didn't mess you up. It's just
okay,
you.
You read this in your Swedish.
No, it's all Italian in my head, too.
Women in town should not be worried, but must think about how to behave. Perpetrators are looking for solitary men and women, so it's important on how they move. Feel free to walk on illuminated streets, and not alone but not alone in alleys or parks. We take security creating measures, but we cannot be in all places. Both men and women need to think ahead. So, according to a report by the Swedish broadcasters,
I'm thinking ahead. I'm thinking ahead, and I'm taking a knife, and I'm taking mace,
right,
and my hat with horns.
Listen, 85% of assault rapes are I believe, where the victim is not acquainted with the rapist. So that's and we all know that they're from migrants, but whatever.
Unbelievable.
All right, I'm not done. We have more, so you can keep your hat on. We're not done in Sweden because the city of Malmo. There's a couple Jewish people there. I don't even know how they're still there, but they're asking for a little bit of help because it's not safe. They can't. There's like 2 or 3 schools that Jews can go to where it's safe. Otherwise, it's not safe. And you dare not wear the Star of David or your kippah hat.
No way.
Young members of the Jewish community in the Swedish city of Malmo say the local government does not do enough to combat growing anti-Semitism. 2 young Jews spoke out about their experiences living in the heavily migrant-populated southern Swedish city, with one claiming that many high schools across the city are simply not safe for Jews to attend. Think about that.
So it's not the Swedes that have anti-Semitic viewpoints.
Yeah, this is not right-wing nationalism or right-wing anybody's. It's the migrants. It's the Muslim migrants. 18-year-old Daniel Vakin, who attended high school Malmo in 2016, said, almost all Jews choose between 3 schools in Malmo. It would never occur to anyone to go to a school that is considered unsafe for Jews. Uncertainty means that you cannot go to school with a visible Star of David, because then there is a high risk of being threatened, or that someone follows you from school and maybe even being beaten. 19-year-old Mira Kevler told the broadcaster that many young Jews were choosing to leave the city altogether. If you think about how long it was since the Holocaust and my relatives were murdered, that people should carry the same fear. In this, the municipality should do better because they are the ones supposed to take care of their citizens. Earlier this year, the Jewish congregation in the city warned of declining numbers of Jews, stating that there were only 387 members of the group in 2019, down from 842 in 1999. The Jewish congregation will soon disappear if nothing is drastically done. Malmo is already a no-go zone for Jews around the world. When Malmo is mentioned in the media around the world, it is far too often related with anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism in the city was blatantly evidenced in December 2017 during a rally to protest the United States moving its Israeli embassy to Jerusalem. Members of the protest chanted, "We have announced the Intifada from Malmo. We want our freedom back, and we will shoot the Jews." But they were not arrested for hate speech or put in jail.
Right, and that's the thing. I don't think this quite sinks in when we talk about it. This is mine's falling off here. But if you have a set of people, let's just say even a handful, 5 or 6, much less an entire community, where they may, on a whim, go and just beat someone. Do you know what it takes inside of a person to have it within themselves to see someone that they dislike enough to do them harm?
Right.
They are a criminal.
Yeah.
So if you have an entire city of people who think this way, who may see someone wearing a Star of David or something else that they don't like, let's say a Christian with a cross or whatever, and they may choose at a whim to go and rape or beat or, you know, let's say key their car or do some sort of act of violence, right? We aren't familiar with a society where there would be an entire city full of criminals, literally criminals, because you have to be a criminal at heart to have that kind of reaction. I would only have that kind of reaction if I was in a city and I saw rapists and child molesters roaming free. And even then, I wouldn't go and attack them and beat them. I would call the cops. And so it's not within us in society as humans to see someone that we hate enough to go and beat them.
Yeah.
So we have an entire city in Sweden and around the world, we've got more cities like this popping up.
Right.
Of literal firecracker criminals.
Right.
They are all evil, evil people.
Yeah.
All right,
so,
we love you guys. God loves you, and God bless, and have a wonderful rest of your Sunday.
Beginning of your week.
Bye, guys.
I was caught